Hey friend, before we dive in today, I need to tell you a story I've never shared on this podcast. It's 2004. I'm sitting across from my boss in a conference room in Nanjing, China. He slides a document across the table and looks at me like it's not a big deal. Just tell them the product can do this. They'll never know the difference. He wanted me to lie, straight up exaggerate to close this deal. And I felt my stomach drop. Because in that moment, all I could think was, I'm going to stand before God someday, and I'm going to have to give an account for every word that comes out of my mouth, each promise I make, each person I look in the eye. And I couldn't do it. So I quit. Right there, with no backup plan, no side hustle waiting in the wings, no savings to speak of. Now, everybody thought I was crazy. My mom kept calling me, Salime, you need to find another job. Now, the clock is ticking. You cannot just sit around trying to figure things out. And honestly, she wasn't entirely wrong. But here's what nobody tells you about that kind of leap. It is terrifying. And it's also not what I would recommend doing because there's a better way, a smarter way. And I had to learn it the hard way so you don't have to. So by the end of this episode, you're going to know exactly when you're ready to leave your job. Not a vague feeling, but an actual number, a real threshold. And spoiler alert, it's probably closer than what you think. So stay with me. Welcome to Freedom to Follow. I'm Salime, your behind-the-scenes mentor for building digital businesses that fund your obedience to Christ. If this is your first time here, I help Jesus-following Latinas build digital businesses that create income without sacrificing family or burning out. I've been doing this for 20 years across 3 continents. Stick around and you'll see why. Everything we talk about comes with a practical exercise waiting for you at www.latinpreneurs.com/The Vault. And if you're one of my regulars, welcome back, hermana. Let's get into it. So there I was, freshly unemployed, morally intact, but financially terrified. I decided to move to Beijing to learn Chinese, which sounds super adventurous and cool when I say it right now, but at the time, I was sharing a tiny room in somebody else's apartment. I was counting every single yuan, and I was eating rice and veggies because that's the only thing I could afford. And every day I could hear my widowed mom's voice in my head saying, "This is ridiculous. Get a real job. Stop playing around." But I could not go back to corporate. Not after what I'd walk away from. I knew there had to be another way. So I started looking around. What did I actually know? What could I actually offer? And here's what I realized. I was a Mexican woman living in China who spoke Spanish, English, and was learning Mandarin. I understood 3 cultures. I knew how to navigate the chaos of Chinese factories and suppliers. And back home, there were business owners who desperately wanted to source products from China but had no idea where to start. They were getting scammed. They were overpaying. They were overwhelmed. Remember, Alibaba and Temu did not exist at this point in time. And there was not a war with China either. So I could help them. I reached out to one person, one small business owner I'd met through a friend of a friend. I can find you suppliers. I can visit factories. I can make sure you don't get ripped off. They say yes. But here's the part that makes me really emotional every time I tell it. They paid me enough to cover my rent, my food, and my basic expenses. And I still had some left to tithe to my little church in Beijing and to give to a ministry I was volunteering with. I was working maybe 3-4 hours a day, sometimes visiting factories, mostly working from that tiny bedroom. And one night, I sat on my bed doing the math and I literally started to cry. Not because I was sad, but because I realized I have enough. I actually have enough. Now, I was not making 6 figures. I was not living at large, but I could pay for my bills, feed myself, and be generous. That's when it hit me. That's the threshold. That's when you know. Now, not when you match your old salary, not when you have a year of savings, not when you feel ready. When you can cover your essentials and still give, that's when your business is real. That's when you're ready to quit. I call it the 75% rule. and it changed everything for me. Okay, let me break this down because it's so much simpler than what the business gurus will tell you. They say things like replace your income or save yourself expenses or wait till you feel ready. And that's paralyzing. Most of us will never feel ready. And matching your current salary, that could take years. Here's what I learned. You do not need to match your salary. You need to hit 75% of what you actually need. Why? Because when you're employed, a bunch of your expenses only exist because you're employed. The work clothes, the commute, the expensive lunch because you're too exhausted to meal prep, the treat yourself purchases because your job is sucking your soul. When you transition, some of these expenses just disappear. So the real question is, what do you actually need for rent, utilities, food, insurance, the basics, and a little margin for given and unexpected expenses and savings. When your business hits 75% of that number consistently, you're in the zone. For me in Beijing, that was one client. One, paying me enough for rent, food, tithe, and giving. For you, it might be 3,000 a month, 4,500. It really depends on your life. But here's the point. It is a real number, something you can track, something you can work towards. Not a feeling, a fact. And when you hit it for 3 months in a row, that's your green light. Let me tell you about my friend Carolina. Carolina is a bilingual executive assistant at a tech company in Houston. She has a really good job, stable paycheck, and soul completely drained. I've been helping her create something, and she's been doing the exercises, some of which are in the vault right now for free. So she was building her digital business on the side. She created a service helping small business owners organize their operations. Virtual assistant work with a strategic twist. But every time she thought about quitting, she'd freeze. I don't make enough yet. I need to match my salary first, Salime. Now, her salary was $65,000 per year. Her side business was bringing about $2,800 a month. So I walked her through the 75% rule. Carolina, what do you actually need each month? Not your current lifestyle, but your essentials. She did the math. Rent, car payment, food, insurance, tithe, it all was all about $3,200. Her business was already at $2,800. That's 80% of her essentials. She was already past the threshold and she didn't even know it. She gave her 2 months notice, her notice 2 months later, and guess what? This was 14 months ago. Today, she's making $5,400 a month. She's working from home. She's taking her kids to school and picking them up. She actually just got back from a 2-week trip to see her family in Mexico with her laptop in hand and still serving clients. See, she did not need to match $65,000 a year. She needed to hit 75% of what she actually needed. That's the shift. I know you're eager and you're asking, what do I need to do to actually understand this? Well, I'm so glad you asked because I've created an exercise called the Transition Timeline. It will walk you through calculating your 75% number and figuring out exactly how close you are. It is inside the Latinpreneurs Vault, completely free. You only have to subscribe. www.latinpreneurs.com/the vault. But here's the thing. The vault is not just one exercise. Every single week, I add a new resource, a new exercise, a new tool. Right now, inside the vault, you got the exercises from episodes 1 to this one, 18, everything we've built together so far. This week's transition timeline so you can calculate your actual number. The first follower framework from episode 12 that shows you how to get your first sale, and where my people, Julenix and Monica and others are starting to make money through digital businesses, through digital offers. I also have the Sacred Hours exercise from episode 5 that will help you find time that you didn't know you had so that you can start building your digital business. The offer direction sheet that matches your season to the right digital offer. And next week, I'm dropping something new, a tool that shows you exactly how to create an offer that sells. And that week after that, your launch plan. So you can see how to go from 0 to up and running in 90 days. This is not just a static emailing list where you wait around for 6 months hoping something happens. This is literally, the Vault is a living, breathing resource library that grows every single week. Women in the Vault are building right now. They're not waiting. They're doing the exercises. They're seeing the results. They're moving towards their transition date. And here's what's coming down the road. I'm building something bigger. A complete course that takes you from I have no idea to I have an up and running business in 6 months. When that launches, Vault members get first access. They get bonuses nobody else gets. They get the best price, period. But even if that course was a year away, which is not, the Vault would be worth it because every week you're getting closer. Every exercise you're building something real. So here's what I want you to do. Pause this episode, go to latinpreneurs.com, subscribe to the Vault, download the transition timeline, and actually do it tonight. Don't let this be another podcast episode you listen and forget. This could be the episode where everything changes, but only if you take the next step. Now, before I let you go, can I just be honest with you for a second? I know what it's like to lie awake at 2 a.m, wondering if you'll ever get out of this ditch, wondering if your digital business will ever be enough, wondering if you're crazy for even trying it. I've been there, in that tiny room in Beijing, counting yuan, hoping this would work. And I want you to know it works, but not by leaping blindly and hoping the net appears. It works by building strategically, by knowing your number, by preparing wisely, and then walking forward when God says go. That moment in my boss's office where I couldn't lie, that was not my victory. That was the beginning of a very hard, very beautiful journey. The victory was 18 months later when I realized I had more than enough, when I could pay my bills, give generously, and work 4 hours a day doing something that mattered. But also, I had time to give back to a ministry helping women being trafficked, something that's deep to my heart. That's what this path gave me. I've been able to be a wife, a homeschooling mom, to take time off while my platforms keep running. In fact, this episode, as I said before, it's pre-recorded. The Vault is automated. My emails are running. And right now, in real life, I'm in Thailand with my family and my very best friend, creating what's next for Latinpreneurs and Reformadas. That's what freedom looks like, hermana. Not hustle, not grinding 24/7, systems that serve people while you actually live your life. That's what I want for you. Not a dramatic resignation letter, not that burn the boats Instagram post, the quiet, steady, strategic path to freedom, so that you can do freely whatever it is that God is calling you to, so that you can be missional and strategic and go therefore and make disciples. It's closer than what you think. So go to latinpreneurs.com/the vault, download a transition timeline, and next week we're talking about the one system that makes everything else work, the thing that most people skip and keeps them stuck forever. You're not going to want to miss it. This is Alime. I'll see you next week on Freedom to Follow by Latinpreneurs. Goodbye.